They set sail for glory, but ended up in a frozen wasteland, trapped for nearly 2 years with no way home. What followed is one of the greatest survival stories ever told, a battle against ice, starvation, and the limits of human endurance. In August 1914, as Europe descended into war, one man's eyes were fixed not on the battlefield, but on the frozen wilderness of Antarctica. Sir Ernest Shackleton had a dream, to be the first to cross the Antarctic continent from coast to coast on foot. He gathered a crew of 27 men, sailors, scientists, carpenters, even a photographer. Together they would sail aboard a stout wooden ship named Endurance. What none of them knew was that they were about to face one of the most incredible survival ordeals in history. An ordeal that would last nearly 2 years. They left South Georgia Island in December 1914, the gateway to the Weddell Sea. The Endurance, strong and proud, was built for ice, but Antarctica has no mercy. Within weeks, the ship was navigating a frozen maze. The pack ice closed in like a vice. Progress slowed and then stopped. By January 1915, the Endurance was trapped, a wooden cage in a sea of ice. Shackleton ordered the men to camp aboard the ship, hoping the summer thaw would free them. But the ice did not melt. It groaned, cracked, and shifted, crushing the Endurance inch by inch. By October, the ship's timbers began to splinter. Water poured in. Shackleton gave the order, "Abandon ship." They salvaged food, tools, and lifeboats, and watched their only shelter sink into the icy depths. Now, stranded on drifting ice floes, the crew faced constant danger. Temperatures plummeted to minus 30 degrees. Storms howled for days. They lived in makeshift camps, surviving on seal meat and penguin stew. The ice beneath them was alive, shifting, breaking, threatening to swallow them without warning. Yet morale stayed remarkably high. Shackleton's leadership kept despair at bay. In April 1916, the ice floe broke apart. Shackleton had no choice but to launch the lifeboats. For 7 days they battled monstrous waves, freezing spray soaking their clothes to ice. Exhausted, frostbitten, and starving, they reached the barren shores of Elephant Island. But there was no help here, only wind, rock, and ice. Shackleton chose 5 men to attempt the impossible. Sail 800 miles across the world's most dangerous seas in a tiny open boat, the James Caird. For 16 days they fought through hurricane winds, icy waves, and near capsizing. Finally, they reached South Georgia Island, only to land on the wrong side. Shackleton and 2 men then trekked across glaciers and mountains for 36 hours without rest, until they stumbled into a whaling station. It took 4 more months and 3 failed rescue attempts before Shackleton returned to Elephant Island. On August 30th, 1916, he stepped ashore with rescue in hand. Against all odds, every single man was alive. The journey of the Endurance is more than a tale of survival. It's a story of leadership, resilience, and the unbreakable will of the human spirit. Shackleton never set foot across Antarctica, but he achieved something greater. He brought every one of his men home. Against a frozen wilderness, endless nights, and impossible odds, not a single life was lost. More than a century later, the story of the Endurance is still told, not as a tale of failure, but as one of the most extraordinary acts of leadership, resilience, and survival in human history. Shackleton's voyage reminds us that sometimes the true measure of success is not in the goal we set, but in the lives we save along the way.